Hey, what's up? This is B the Installer. I have the brand new 85-inch Samsung QN90B in the house. Got Jen here to help me out. We're gonna unbox this TV. I'm excited to show you guys what is the same or different from this over the last TV. And actually, I just did the QN90A 85-inch because it was for a client. This is also for a client. So I'm excited to show you the differences and see, what is improved, what hasn't. I have the 83-inch A90J right there that we can compare it to in this video. So a little bit further down the video, we'll go ahead and do that. But first, gonna unbox it, set it up, check a couple of the uniformity and other tests, and then compare it against the A90J in a bright room and a dark room. So super excited for this. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and all that good stuff. And by the end of the video, I want you to let me know if you're going to buy a Samsung, an LG, a Sony, and if you watch this video because of the TV or because Jen helps me. I want to know all that in the comments. All right, let's get into it. Gotta pop the top here. Get these cut. All right. Cool. So far, it's pretty similar. Pull this out. Typical accessory packet. I think the remote looks pretty much the same. Power cord, very basic, not too interesting. And a setup guide, how to take the box apart. That will come in handy, of course. And then, of course, we have part of the stand, the connective tissue between the TV and the stand itself. So we'll get these on there in due time. But now we have to take apart the box. So we got to pull these clips off on the side. I think we have 2 on each side. That's it. Oh, we could just lift it. I think it's better just to take it apart. It's hard to lift it over the top sometimes. And when you lift it over the top, sometimes the TV could take off on you. Easier just to pull these tabs and then pull the 2 pieces of the box apart and slide them out of the way. So let's do that. Got these 2 done. The box does seem a little tippy. Be careful at home. You don't want to have your TV fall like the A80J last year. Whee! Top pieces off first. There we go. That was really tight. And then this one. Thank you. All right, so we're here at the back of the TV. And you might have noticed by now that I'm sitting on a scooter. I actually had ankle surgery, so everything went well. Going to be a full recovery, so have a cast on for a month, so unfortunately, here it is. But onto the TV. We have directions on the back here that tell you basically what to do. So you want to disconnect these little clips from the sides, and if you can get that one on that side, remember that little piece? So we have this right here. Got this piece. You basically just push it through and then open up each side, and it gives you 2 pieces that can then fold down. And I think there's one on that side, right, Jen? Isn't there one in the middle that you kind of have to release over here in the middle, like midway through, or no? There you go. I think basically it'll just break the plastic if we don't do that. It's good. Okay, there we go. All right. So the stand is huge and heavy, and that didn't change from 2021 to 2022. It goes on both sides of the TV. There is padding, but just be careful when you lift it because it's definitely heavy. So lift it out of there. Yeah, definitely as heavy as it was last year. So big old stand, probably weighs at least 20, 25 pounds, and we're going to connect this to the other piece. All right, so the 8 screws are in this piece, and it says to put this piece onto this piece first and then connect it to the back of the TV. You also can put this on the TV and then try to elevate this. It's fine either way, really. Whatever works best for you. So I'll take this apart real quick and get the screws on these 2. Got those 4 screws in. So we have to pick this piece up first from the middle. So to do that. And Jen, I believe the other side, it pulls out from the front. There you go. All right. The TV feels like it's very unstable once you pull the stand out because the stand was keeping it kind of anchored at the bottom, the weight, but now it's evenly distributed over the whole height, so it feels very tippy. So be careful with that. And then what we have to do is just pull this plastic off to be able to access this. So we'll probably have to break this a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect for the client to arrive. Can you pull that out the front a little bit? There we go. Okay, and now we can just slide this in and put these 4 screws on. Okay, should be good. So we got the stand on, good to go. So now we just have to kind of position it and get the entertainment center behind here, and we'll stand it up and show you what it looks like. Let's just go ahead and, do you want to lift it and then bring it to the back side here? 1, 2, 3. Smooth. Okay, awesome. So we have it up now. We're gonna pull the plastic off, fire it up, and then gonna compare it to the A90J. So definitely stick around because it's very useful in these kind of videos to see how the uniformity is in the screen, to kind of give it a quality control check, and then see it versus another TV and see, you know, what might be better for you and your conditions, as you know, if you're a bright room or a dark room. I'll let Jen do the honors of pulling the plastic since I'm a little gimpy with the foot. All right, I guess I'll pull this. Woo. Pull that piece off. Good to go. Cool, so we got the TV up here, which is what I needed to help with. Thanks, Jen, I really appreciate it. You can move on with the rest of your day. High five. All right, so here we go. Got the power cord and the remote and some instructions. I'm gonna go in the back and plug it in and check the HDMI ports and see what we got. All right, so on the back here we have the ATSC 3.0 tuner, which is new in 2022. The 2021 model did not have that. You have the Ethernet port there. You have 4 HDMIs, and this year all 4 HDMIs are HDMI 2.1. That means any of them can be gaming ports. Obviously, HDMI 3 with the eARC should be the one that you would put your soundbar or your speaker system connected to, so that your remote on your Samsung can control the volume up and down if you have one of those. And then, you know, a couple USB ports up here that this one can be an HDD drive. So pretty straightforward, but definitely the HDMI 2.1 ports, having 4 of those is a huge benefit this year for Samsung. And then we'll just plug this sucker in here and we're ready to go. Get this remote out of here. Well, that looks very much like last year's remote. So it's the same remote. Obviously, it's the first year of this new remote, so they're not gonna like change it massively. USB-C charging, solar charging, so pretty much should never run out of battery. If you need to, just connect it to a USB charger. Power button, most importantly, up, down, left, right, home button, back. The volume and the channel are really nice, how you have like just kind of a clicker to click up and down. And then it has Netflix, Disney Plus, Samsung Plus, and Prime Video on the bottom for buttons. So let's go ahead and fire this big 85-inch TV up. But first, a quick word from today's sponsor, the Ridge Wallet. For years, I gave myself back problems sitting on this pile of receipts and old business cards. But why? The Ridge Wallet has room for up to 12 cards as well as cash, all in a neat and sturdy design that is far thinner than your typical wallet. There are over 30 colors and styles, including burnt titanium and carbon fiber. My personal favorite is forged ember carbon fiber, which is extremely durable but barely noticeable in your pocket. And it's got these hot red flakes that match my new Tesla. More on that to come. But don't just take my word for it. Ridge Wallets have over 40,000 5-star reviews and gives you 45 days to try them out with a money-back guarantee. So make sure you go to ridge.com/installer in the description below and type in the code installer to get 15% off your order, so you have something cool to unbox. So we got the TV on and it popped into like the local Samsung Plus channel, which to be honest looks pretty good. It looks better than it did last year, but that could just be the content that we're at. So hit home, and now, like my friend Tech with KG said, you hit the home button and unfortunately you're drawn completely into a home screen, as opposed to the pop-up that was last year. The Samsung in previous years just had the pop-up. LG lost that last year, and it looks like Samsung has lost it this year. Oh well. So all the different apps here, of course, we'll have to click on the settings button, is its own button now on the remote. So now we're in the settings and we can go into the area where it has the power management and just make sure that's off, because if you have the brightness optimization on there, it got a lot brighter there, and motion lighting and power saving, all this crap, turn it all off. Okay, so we got all the power and energy saving things turned off so we can really see what the TV does. TV looks really bright, looks really good. Get out of this, and I just really wanted to go over a little content. So it's not that I dislike the look of this new OS or the way that they have the OS set up. It's just more that I think a lot of people liked having the pop-up so you could kind of look at things at the bottom before choosing, kind of like the LG where it had that pop-up as well. It's not like dramatic. I think it's cool here on the left, media, you know, ambience. I just know there's a lot of different backgrounds you can choose. Like, that's pretty cool. Let's see island flyover. Let's click on it and see what it looks like. So that's pretty cool. The island flyover, a good screensaver. Unlike the OLED screensavers that I have where I'm a little sus about having it on all night. You know, this is an LCD TV. I don't think I'd be too worried if I left it on and this was on kind of scrolling while I was sleeping, but it's definitely darker too, which is good, but not too bad. So you have some of those options. Let's get out of this. So then when you hit menu, it brings you back to this screen here, and you can see the media on the side, ambient, search, and then again, you have your menu, settings, connected devices, multi-view where I can do picture-in-picture. You can have your phone up there. I mean, it's pretty awesome. The ability just to take your phone up to the screen and tap on the screen and have it split is pretty awesome. Oh, you can do it, you know, like this where you have, you know, your mobile content on the right and the screen on the left. Anyways, a lot of cool stuff. The picture-in-picture is definitely cool when you have two different games on or different sources, or you can, you know, game from one and watch like YouTube on the other. That's definitely an appealing feature, so I do like that. But I think for me to really get a good gauge on what the TV looks like, I'm gonna just connect my Apple TV, and I would like to throw it up against the A90J just to see where it stands versus a really good TV. All right, we have the A90J fired up next to the Samsung QN90B. And right off the bat, you can tell that the Samsung is quite bright. So I definitely like that, and I think anyone that's planning on being in a bright room where there's a lot of windows, you can enjoy the benefit of having a nice bright LCD-based TV. But really quickly, I wanted to show a little SDR and HDR footage, and I'll have more in a review on this. I'm gonna do a full review on this TV, so this is really quick just to check it out and see what you think. But obviously the one noticeable thing is how bright the TV is in a bright screen, but we will look at how it looks with some dark content on here too. So let's go ahead and click on YouTube TV and just check it out. Right there you can see that the Sony goes black though, and that the Samsung QN90B had more of a gray tint to it. So I think Samsung had wanted to make this TV a little bit better with regards to crushing the shadow detail. You know, it's still quite bright in the SDR content. The Sony looks fine, and again, when you have them individually, you don't notice one so much differently than the other, but you can see on the Samsung there's a lot brighter highlights. To me, it looks like the Sony has better resolution, or it's upscaling it better, that the Samsung looks a little bit rougher around the edges of this upscaled content. And again, it's YouTube TV, so you gotta take it with a grain of salt. They have really poor resolution and, you know, bit rate or whatever when you're watching this stuff streaming. So it's not gonna be exactly the same for all content, but it's definitely, you know, punchier, and it's vivid. And, you know, if I had to choose one of these two TVs off of something like this, you know, a lot of people would be like, wow, that Samsung is really bright. So anyways, let's get into the HDR footage real quick. So I'll put on like Dune, because it's got some like challenging scene for an LCD. Okay, so we have Dune on, and both my editor and I look at this and we're like, wow, this Samsung looks really good. It's very punchy and it has a lot of brightness, where the Sony, I mean, normally when you get into something like this where it's a darker scene, you see a little fall off from the LCD. But you know, there's a lot of shadow detail. I don't really see the blooming. Like, I felt like there was a little blooming in dark areas, maybe a little bit. You know, you can't completely turn off blooming or not have blooming on LCDs, but it looks like they have done a little better job with having brighter highlights in a dark scene. So I actually had to pump up a little of the settings on the A90J because I didn't have everything. I didn't have the peak luminances at medium, wasn't high, and I had contrast adjust was off instead of now I raised it to high. Just because if we're gonna show these two at their peak, you probably should have some of those settings at least kind of pumped up and it's definitely a little closer, but yeah, you can see this is a challenging scene. You know, around the text here, there's a little bit of blooming, but it's much brighter on the Samsung. I wouldn't say that's blooming. Maybe in a dark room, it looks like that. Let's turn this into a dark room. So now we're in a dark room, and I have to tell you, I can definitely see how the Samsung is far brighter than it was last year in these dark, challenging scenes. So I don't know if that's at the expense of its ability to stop blooming. I don't really see any blooming straight on in the widescreen bars, and those little highlights are so bright on the Samsung. So it looks like Samsung was absolutely able to brighten up the highlights in dark scenes, and they got the message that they were both suppressing those last year and also having a little bit of blooming. But it looks amazing. I have very little complaints at the moment. I want to just show you how cool it looks in a really bright room and how good the anti-reflective properties are, and let's wrap it up. Okay, so now we're in a bright room, and we're trying to give you guys what it would look like if you had these two TVs in a bright room. And for me, it's pretty easy to see that like the Samsung is much better at handling reflections. Of course, the light is showing up in the center of the Samsung TV and the edge of the Sony. But there you can see like less reflection in the Samsung. So not only is it brighter, but it also is better in the daylight. On the downside, the dirty screen effect issue that has plagued Samsung for a few years here is still prevalent. They haven't solved that issue. It's a lack of quality control. So it hasn't been solved, but you know, I'll talk more about that in the review. Similarly, the dimming zone counts, I haven't done a full dimming zone count on this TV. Overall, it handles blooming well and looks amazing in both. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is it time to buy a Samsung? Are you impressed with the Samsung QN90B 85-inch here? Or would you stick to buying the Sony A90J, the OLED, the heatsink, the speakers? Let me know in the comments. I'm pretty impressed. Let me know if you are. And definitely smash the like button. It really helps the channel. And subscribe, ring the notification bell. And just like that, you can be the installer.